Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope all is well and welcome back to the channel. We finally reached the start of GW9, so we are less than a day away from the first game from this game week, which is going to be Liverpool versus Everton on Saturday afternoon, 1:30 game time. So the international break is finally over, and let's talk about my final thoughts and decisions for Game Week 9. So here is how my team looks at the moment for this game week. Still no transfers made from me. So I have one free transfer, and this is how the team looks for this game week. It looks decent. I don't really have to make a transfer. I haven't decided yet. I think I would either roam a transfer for game week 10, or I might do something spicy for this game week. I might take -4 hit and move some players around, but definitely I will still have to remain patient throughout this day to see what what managers say about their teams and some possible injuries and all of that. So let's go through some of the players that I would look to get for Game Week 9. So there are a couple of interesting options. I would say that we need to focus on mostly getting some Arsenal players. Even though they play Chelsea away this week, I wouldn't be too worried about their attacking options. So maybe defensively, maybe they will not keep a clean sheet in this game, but attacking wise, I would expect them to score a couple of goals. So I would look to get in players like Saka, Martinelli for long term. Maybe even Gabriel Jesus if you're looking for a striker, but he still hasn't really proven himself since he came back from injury, even though he is nailed, as we all know. But I would like to get some kind of form from him before I start considering him for my team. So at the moment I would say the focus should be getting Saka back if, like me, you don't have him, or Gabriel Martinelli. These are the two players that I would look to get, at least one of them for this game week. And then for next week I would look to get a defender as well, one of William Saliba if he is fit, or Ben White if we have the funds. So these are the Arsenal players that I would look to get in the team. Now this is long-term transfers. Arsenal, if you're looking for some transfers for 1 week, basically a 1 week punt. So if you're planning to wildcard in Game Week 10, for example, then I would possibly look at some Liverpool options for Game Week 9. Now, a couple of interesting options in Liverpool, but the key thing here is going to be early team news, unfortunately. So there are some interesting options from Liverpool for this game week, but we don't really know which of these options are going to start in the Everton game. So the first player to talk about from Liverpool is Tsimikas, a potential bargain, 4.4 million. Liverpool potentially starting fullback. Now they have a very nice run of fixtures coming up in the next 10 game weeks, I would say, and Andre Robertson is as reported going to be injured during these games, so Tsimikas becomes a very interesting option. The problem with him is the fact that we are not sure if he's going to start games or not for Liverpool. He hasn't really been starting any games this season in the league. He has played some European games, I believe, and some cup games, but in the league it was always Robertson. But now that Robertson is injured, it's going to be either Tsimikas or maybe someone like Joe Gomez would come into that spot if Klopp wants to play his new style of play, which is 3 center backs and then Trent goes in the middle. So in that case I suppose Gomez would be starting games, but I think if we get some early team news in Game Week 9, then that Tsimikas, like I said, Liverpool is the first game of this game week, so if we get some early team news that Tsimikas is going to start in this game, I think that will be an indication that he is going to be starting most of these fixtures. So unless he plays absolutely awful in Game Week 9 and if he is the worst player on the pitch, other than that, I think he's going to continue to start games after that, because I don't really think Klopp is the type of manager to rotate players around. I think he likes his starting 11, other than maybe rotating the striker with Nunez and Gakpo and Jota and all of that. Other than that, I think he wants to find up his best 11 and play him week after week. So this Everton game is going to be very important for us. So for me personally, if I see that Tsimikas is starting in this Everton game, I'm most likely going to go for a -4 hit, and I'm going to get him in the team instead of one of my 4 million defenders. And you should consider getting him as well if you are planning to wildcard in game week 10, or if you want to keep him long term. Also, another player to keep an eye on if he's going to be starting or not is going to be Darwin Núñez, a player in form for his country and for his club. The problem with him, of course, is the fact that we don't know if he's going to start or not, and how many minutes he's going to play. Keep in mind that Cody Gakpo is back in the team, Diogo Jota is fit again, and Luis Diaz as well. So 4 players competing for 2 spots. But I would say if we get some early team news that Darwin Núñez is starting this game, or someone like Diogo Jota is starting, he could be an interesting one-week punt as well. I would go for one of these players in the team. So those would be the Liverpool players to look for this week. Other than that, what other things are there to talk about this week? Well, I would say when it comes to Spurs players, I have decided that I'm going to keep them for this week, and then after Fulham at home, I'm going to transfer 2, maybe even all 3 of them out next week, depending on how many free transfers I have in my team. So this week I'm going to start all of these 3 players, but next week Son Heung-min is very likely going to leave the team for one of the Arsenal midfielders, possibly Saka, and then other Maddison is going to be transferred out for Martinelli as well, or maybe Udogie will go out the team for an Arsenal defender. That's the plan at the moment. And when it comes to Man City players, I would say that at the moment for Game Week 9 I'm going to keep these players because Brighton at home is an amazing fixture for Manchester City to bounce back. Brighton are a very open team, and keep in mind Rodrigo will be back in the team for Manchester City for this week after his red card, and I think he is the heart of this team. He is the most important player by far for Man City, and the team looks a lot better when he is on the field. I expect Man City to win this game comfortably, scoring at least 3 goals, I would say, and my plan is to keep Julian Alvarez and Haaland for this week. Now, if Brighton shock Man City and Man City lose again, then it becomes time, I think, to transfer out some of their players, and then I would look to transfer out Julian Alvarez in Game Week 10, and then possibly a couple of weeks later, maybe Haaland as well. So that is the plan with my team. Now, also I have to say, this is specifically for my team, so Ward-Prowse I think is becoming a problem, and I probably will look to move him on, maybe even this week, I'm not sure, because of his position, the place where he plays. I'm not too fond of. He kind of plays way too defensive. I didn't really watch this game against Newcastle, but after the game I read some comments from West Ham fans who said that apparently James Ward-Prowse was playing very defensive in this game, and that's the new system that I wouldn't like to have him in my team if that's going to continue moving forward. So I'm maybe looking to get him out of the team. Now, when it comes to West Ham, I would say that Jaron Bowen is a very good pick to have, especially if you're wildcarding in Game Week 9 or Game Week 10. I would look to get this player in my team, in your team, because they have a very nice run of fixtures coming up. He's quite nailed, and he plays almost as a striker at the moment. He's their talisman and a very good pick to have. Also, another player to consider would be Souček at the price of 4.9. He's nailed to start pretty much any game, I think, and I would say that He's very attacking at the moment. He goes in the box quite a lot. He's a threat in the air because he's very tall, and for the price of 4.9 he might be the best bench option as the 8 attacker if you're going for a wildcard, so definitely consider him as well. So yeah, that's the players that I would look to get this week. Next week I will look to jump on some potentially Brighton assets if you don't have any. If you are looking for their players, they have a couple of nice games from Game Week 10, and obviously Aston Villa players as well who will play Luton, but I would assume most of you have at least 2 Aston Villa players by now. So yeah, the last talking point for this game week is going to be the captaincy. I think the captaincy is very simple for this week. Let me just move my vice captain. So if you have Haaland in the team, I would say definitely this is the week to captain Haaland. I wouldn't be in any way, I wouldn't have Haaland in the team but not captain him for this week. The fixture is way too good to resist. So definitely if you still have Haaland, captain him. If not, I would say Salah is the second best captain for this week. And I would not really look at Son captaincy because he might be injured. I mean, this isn't a certain, but he seems to be carrying some injury in the past couple of games for club and country, so I wouldn't be surprised if Son, I think he is going to start this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets subbed off at around the 60th minute or something like that, so I wouldn't really be looking to captain him. I think having him for this game in the team is going to be enough. So yeah, I think the captain should be Haaland for most of us this week, and for the people that are looking for a differential captain or have transferred out to Haaland, it should be Salah. Good luck everyone in Game Week 9. Hopefully it will be a nice game week and enjoyable, and I will see you all after the game week. Peace.